Hi guys, welcome back. It's Danielle, and today I'm coming at you with a little bit of a life update and a reading update and just a little bit of a chatty video about what I've been up to lately, because I have not posted a video since my September wrap-up / October TBR several months ago. And this has been for a couple reasons. So first I'll do my little life update so that you kind of know why, and then I'll talk about the few books that I read at the end of the year this year. Basically, the big reason that I haven't been around on BookTube is because my husband and I are expecting, and we are actually 1 month out from our due date as of the day of filming this. So we are very much coming closer and closer to meeting baby, and we are very excited. This is our first baby. We don't know what we're having. We're letting that be a surprise. And because of the pregnancy and being so tired and the insane drive to redo half of the rooms in my house, I just haven't had any time and energy to film, let alone read. I really haven't read all that much since my last video was posted. I started a lot of things but didn't finish a lot of them, and my reading towards the end of the year has just been in one big huge slump. Basically, I have spent all of my time and energy either getting ready for baby, carrying baby, and redoing our living room, our nursery, and our bedroom. So it's been a long and not stressful but busy several months. Plus there was the holidays with Thanksgiving and Christmas and traveling and just everything going on. We have been so busy that I haven't had a ton of time to read, and I haven't felt like filming or editing or anything like that. I actually have, I think, either a summer or a fall, a fall wrap up of everything I read in the fall. No, because I consider winter December, so that must be my summer wrap up that I filmed, and I just never edited it. And I never got around to editing it, and I just feel like now it's so late to do my summer wrap up from last year that I'm just going to scrap that video. I am going to try and do either like 1 or 2 yearly wrap-up videos this month before baby gets here, and just kind of summarize everything that I read in the last year and some of my stats and some of my favorites to kind of give you guys a picture of what I did read this year. So I wanted to give you a wrap-up of the last, I think, 2 books that I read since September, so not even 1 a month. I read both of these books in November, I believe, and no, I think I finished one in December. I don't know. I'll chat about it when I pull up the books on my computer. But as far as what my channel is going to look like this coming year, I have no idea, because if I think that I have no time to read and I'm busy and I'm tired now, that is all going to just ramp up come February. So I definitely have no idea what my reading is going to look like. I have no idea what my channel is going to look like. I would like to keep up with it. I would like to say that I'm still going to read and make videos and do all that. But I also don't want to put unrealistic expectations on myself as a first-time parent. So I will say, if you want to keep up with what I'm currently reading and what I'm currently up to, the best place to do that is either on Goodreads, if you want to find out what I'm reading, because I do track my reading pretty solidly on Goodreads, and then as well as Instagram. I'm fairly active over on my Instagram account, and so I talk a lot about what I'm reading there and kind of my day-to-day. So if you're interested in keeping up with me, you can check out both. Will be linked in the description below, so feel free to follow me over there. Otherwise, I will quickly chat about the 2 books that I read to wrap up my 2019 reading. First up, we have Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, and I listened to this on audiobook. I actually listened to it while I was painting my living room. And this is read by Neil Gaiman, and that's part of the reason that I really wanted to pick this book up, is that Neil Gaiman narrates his audiobooks himself, and he just does a fantastic job. I picked this up because it was a buddy read for Murphy Napier's Patreon group, and I really wanted to keep up with those, even though I did not do such a great job of keeping up with the buddy reads all year this year. I did a decent job, and the cover is beautiful, for one thing. It's just a gorgeous cover, and I wanted to learn more about Norse mythology. I really like Norse mythology. Thor is my favorite MCU character, and I was interested in it. And so this is kind of almost a collection of short stories about Norse mythology that Neil Gaiman has taken and put his own spin on. So they're just a bunch of small short stories about all the different gods of Asgard and about Thor and Loki and a lot of other gods that I was not as familiar with but really came to enjoy. It does have kind of an underlying story, and it does kind of go from the beginning through to Ragnarok, which is kind of their version of the end of the world or the apocalypse. It's not the end of the world because the world keeps going, it's just the end of the gods. I thought it was a really interesting take on Norse mythology. Not that I'm super familiar with Norse mythology, so maybe some people think it's not so interesting. But I love Neil Gaiman's writing style, and I love the way he takes small details from one story and will weave it into another story, so that it still had kind of the feel of a continuous novel versus just short stories. But either way, I think if you enjoy Neil Gaiman's writing style and you enjoy Norse mythology, you should definitely check it out. I enjoyed getting to know the gods more as characters and seeing some of the different locations throughout Norse mythology was very interesting as well. So I think I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. So then the last book that I read for 2019 was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And I'm so glad that I finished my year out with this book. I have been wanting to read Pride and Prejudice for a long time. This is not the first time I've tried reading Pride and Prejudice, but it is the first time that I finished Pride and Prejudice or even made a dent in Pride and Prejudice. And, I actually have this one. There, Pride and Prejudice. I'm so glad I finished my year on this book. I absolutely loved it. Once I was able to really dig in deep and meet these characters and learn this story, I have somehow, surprisingly, never been spoiled for Pride and Prejudice. Like, I knew roughly that it was about Elizabeth and Darcy, and then it was a romance, and that he was Pride and she was Prejudice. And that's basically all I knew about this book going in. So that's all I'm really going to say about the book, because if you have magically never been spoiled for a classic that was published like 200 years ago, then, good for you too, because I hadn't been. I think it was I want to say 200. It's published in like 1813, I thought. I think this book was originally published in 1813, making it roughly 200 years old. But I could be totally wrong on that, so maybe in post I'll throw in a little note saying that I am totally wrong on that. Anyway, what I loved about this book, I loved the characters. Mr. Darcy starts out so unlikable, and I just really did not like him at first, and then just the things that he does in this book, he grows on you and he becomes a character that I loved. And I loved Elizabeth from the get-go. I could kind of relate to some of the ways that she was kind of salty towards people and a little bit jaded, and I loved watching her grow as well and seeing her as a character. She was very strong, very opinionated, and was going to stick to those opinions whether you liked it or not, whether anyone liked it or not. And just seeing the two of them learn from each other and grow and change was just so good. And the themes in this book and even the other characters, the side characters, were just so much fun. The character work in this book was fantastic. I loved the writing style. It did take me a little bit to get used to the language of the writing, but once I did, I absolutely loved this book. I thought Jane Austen was funny and witty and so sassy and sarcastic that I really enjoyed my read through of Pride and Prejudice. I'm looking forward very much to reading it again in the future. Definitely one that I want to reread. And I also listened to this one on audiobook, and I found a version of the audiobook, because there's several versions of the audiobook, that is narrated by Kate Redding, and she is one of my favorite audiobook narrators. So that just made the whole experience so much better. So I would highly recommend Pride and Prejudice. I would love to read more by Jane Austen. So let me know down below what you think my next Jane Austen read should be. Those are the 2 books that I finished 2019 up on that I still had left to talk about. If you have any advice for me being a first-time mom, let me know down below, because I would appreciate that, especially advice on how to keep reading after you have a baby, because I have no idea how I'm going to do it. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching if you tuned in. Sorry I fell off the face of the earth and was pretty much non-existent on here for a while. Hopefully I'll do better this next year. I can't make any promises though. But until next time, happy reading. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Goodbye.